Sheriff's Office is investigating a fatal crash on Route 9 in Eddington. The crash happened right near the Eddington Fire Department. The Sheriff's Office says the call came in shortly after 1 p.m. First responders determined that a van traveling westbound on Route 9 had crossed the roadway and struck a work vehicle that was legally parked in the breakdown lane. The collision was head-on and resulted in extensive damage to both vehicles. The operator of the parked work vehicle was transported to Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center for treatment. The operator of the van was pronounced deceased at the scene. The cause of the collision remains under investigation. A Florida woman charged in connection with a major kickback scheme involving a Maine corrections official was sentenced for her role today. Melanie Ann High of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, was accused of using kickbacks to induce Gerald Merrill to make repeated purchases from companies she controlled. Merrill is a former deputy superintendent at the Mountain View Correctional Facility and Down East Correctional Facility. For her part, Melanie High was charged with theft by unauthorized taking and bribery in official and political matters. High was sentenced to 2 years in prison with all but 6 months suspended and 2 years probation, as well as $100,000 in restitution for the benefit of the Department of Corrections. High spoke before the verdict was handed down.
This period has been the worst and most difficult of my life. I've had to confront my actions and consequences every day. I am deeply ashamed of what has happened.
The judge said her decision was based on the length of time that criminal activity took place and the amount of money the scheme cost the state of Maine. She also considered High's lack of criminal history, her cooperation with the investigation, and her prepayment of some of the restitution she owes. A man was hospitalized and is facing several criminal charges after a traffic stop Friday in Calais turned into an officer-involved shooting. According to the Calais Police Department, 2 officers conducted a traffic stop on 35-year-old Abinati White at the intersection of Main Street and North Street in Calais. White refused to follow commands after being told he was under arrest. Officers attempted to tase him but were unsuccessful. This is a video of that incident. It was obtained by ABC7 Fox 22 from social media and confirmed by sources within the Washington County Sheriff's Office that this is in fact footage of the incident. The officers tried to physically take White into custody, but he continued to resist and then grabbed a sword and swung it at the police. Both officers fired their weapons. White was treated, transported, and life-flighted to Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center and is stabilized. Both officers have been placed on a standard procedure administrative leave. The Attorney General's office will investigate the use of deadly force, and Calais Police Department will conduct a criminal investigation. White faces charges of failure to stop, operating after suspension, failure to submit to arrest, and criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon. Meanwhile, the Attorney General's office says 2 Somerset County deputies were justified when they shot and killed a man during a search of his Heartland home last year. According to the Somerset County Sheriff's Office, investigators went to the home of Isaac Robinson on Main Street in Heartland a little before 6 o'clock on September 10th of last year to conduct a search warrant. The report says deputies announced themselves before entering the home. Deputy William Crawford found Robinson in a bedroom and told him several times to drop a knife. Robinson refused and threw an object with liquid in it toward Crawford, then charged at him with a large knife and another object in his hands. Crawford and Deputy Michael Lyman shot Robinson. Robinson was pronounced dead at the scene. The chief medical examiner determined he died from multiple gunshot wounds. The report says investigators found a machete and a baseball bat near Robinson, and body camera footage from Lyman was consistent with he and Crawford's report to investigators. The Attorney General's report was issued on Friday. Well, some residents of Ellsworth are pushing for a recall of 5 city councilors after what they say is a lack of transparency and accountability. The move comes after Councilor Steve O'Halloran received a sanction for an alleged ethics violation, which drew controversy in the community. Residents are saying they've seen their taxes rise year after year and are concerned about city spending in the wake of high property taxes.
We're not scared of change, it's just that we cannot afford it. We need to make sure we can afford things and take care of things properly before we add on.
Well, signatures will be collected until the end of the month. 1,500 signatures are needed for the petitions to go to the ballot. Well, the Maine CDC is recommending limiting the consumption of fresh fish from some areas after finding elevated levels of PFAS. They say those elevated levels were found in fish tissue samples from Sandy Stream in Freedom, Knox, and Unity, and in the Sebasticook River in Winslow. In some cases, they recommend not eating fish of any kind from the affected areas. In others, they recommend no more than 5 meals per year of any fish species. There are now 28 water bodies in Maine that currently have a freshwater consumption advisory. Soldiers from across the state are preparing to deploy to U.S. Central Command in the Middle East before Maine's Army National Guardsmen departed for their duties. A send-off ceremony honored them and their families. Our Callie Warren has more.
So this is a send-off ceremony for my company, Bravo Company, attached to the 3rd Battalion, 172nd Infantry Regiment. I'm in preparation for our deployment to United States Central Command over in the Middle East in conjunction with Operation Spartan Shield.
For Bodie Clark and many other Maine Guardsmen like him, Saturday was the final day before their first deployment.
I'm nervous, but I'm also brimming with anticipation. You know, this is what I signed up for, this is what I trained for, you know. I'm ready to get out the door and be a part of this mission with everyone that I'm deploying with.
The battalion is sending around 100 Maine soldiers for an operation to strengthen regional stability with Middle Eastern allies.
It's a lot of responsibility, but it feels good. The morale's high. Everyone's really excited to get on the plane, get out the door, do our mission, but you know, it's tough leaving everyone at home.
Army officials say they'll begin their mission in Texas before departing to the Middle East. A ceremony Saturday honored the Guardsmen and their families before they say goodbye.
So on behalf of all Maine people, I thank you for your service. I thank your friends and family for their sacrifice, including the many who are here today.
Bravo Company, I'm proud to serve alongside each and one of you. But now we have a job to do. And let's get it done. Ascend to victory.
Army officials say they're expected to be deployed for around a year. In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
We thank them for their service. Alrighty, folks, let's pause now and peek outside for a first check of our forecast.
Thank you. Tonight's first weather is brought to you by Old Town Redemption, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. We'll take a look at these temperatures for today. It was beautiful out there. We had temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Some spots got to those 80s, but you saw me kind of sneak in a 90-degree there. We're going to come close to that in these next couple of days. We're going to cool down tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to be back warm in those 80s. And then once again on Wednesday, we're going to get back up into the mid to upper 80s. Some spots will reach for those 90s. Taking a look at radar, there is not a cloud in the sky. Lots of sunshine out there as far as the eye can see. Beautiful day for us, and it's going to continue. We're going to have a few clouds that roll in for us for tomorrow. Other than that, lots of sunshine out there for us tomorrow before we get some thunderstorm chances back into our forecast. For tonight, though, we're looking at temperatures falling into the low to mid 50s.
Thank you, Anna. Still to come on Fox 22 News at 10. Tomorrow is primary day. Voters will be heading to the polls, and we'll have much more on tomorrow's election just ahead.
Graham Plattner says police officers are all bastards. He makes racist comments about black people. And if you disagree with Plattner, he calls you retarded and a fag. Read more here. Pine Tree Result Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
People ask me all the time, does Lowry & Associates really get all of those clients, all of those big settlements? Yes, we do. And you know what else is true? I really am standing on top of this big truck.
I'm Owen McCarthy, running for governor. Here's why they say I can't win. Not a politician. I'm an engineer, business builder, and problem solver. Augusta, they don't do problem solving. No famous last name. Yeah, I'm the son of a logger and a lunch lady from north of Augusta. Plan is too detailed. My plan makes Maine affordable for working people. They say it's too smart for politicians to understand. Too nice. Yeah, I'm not an asshole. I'm Owen McCarthy. Let's prove him wrong.
More rain is is expected today,
so roads could get slippery.
When conditions get more severe, you can feel safe driving any one of Toyota's 23 all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive models, which is more than Honda, Subaru, or Jeep. Like the style-to-be-wild turbocharged Tacoma with a ruggedly refined interior and advanced technology. Toyota gives you more all-wheel drive choices, giving you more reason to see your New England Toyota dealer. Your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
I'm really sorry.
Who will find love?
My heart is on the line.
And who will find heartbreak?
No one wants to be told that it's not you.
The season finale of Farmer Wants a Wife, Tuesday on Fox.
20 years of bigotry and hate from Graham Plattner. He calls police officers all bastards, and Plattner insults black people, saying they don't tip. Read more at bigotedplattner.com. Pine Tree Results Pack is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Welcome back. There's no shortage of competitive, high-stakes races and candidates in the state primary tomorrow, and it all comes down to Maine voters. However, with crowded fields in this year's primary races, election officials say results could take more than a week to be finalized. Our Grace Blanchard has more on what voters can expect.
People are really enthusiastic to come cast their ballots, cast their votes, and participate in their civic duty and participate in their democracy.
Tuesday's primary election will set the stage for the highly anticipated general election in November, and voters in both parties can expect to see ballots with packed fields of candidates.
Election night, we won't know who the clear winner is. We will know who's gotten the greatest number of number one votes.
The Secretary of State's office says many races will likely go to ranked choice, as candidates in a field of more than 3 candidates must obtain more than 50% of first choice votes to win outright. As a result, all ballots and memory drives must be transported by law enforcement to Augusta to be collected and tabulated. That process can take several days.
It's really hard to tell until we know how those votes actually play out from the voters and how we know, what towns are available, how quickly they're able to get their counts to us, and then turn things over to law enforcement.
Which race is tabulated first also depends on how quickly materials arrive. Bangor City Clerk Lisa Goodwin says it takes 3 months of planning for Election Day.
My team, we have usually 75 people working at one time. So it takes a lot of people, it's a village to get this going and make it work smoothly and correctly.
McBrien says there is a chance that they could have results for Congressional District 2 before statewide races.
Well, if we have all of Congressional District 2 in hand before we have the rest of Congressional District 1, we'll start uploading for Congressional District 2.
The polls here in Bangor will officially open 7 a.m. and polls statewide will close 8 p.m. Tuesday. In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The ranked choice calculation process will be live streamed and open to the public. That location will be announced as soon as ranked choice tabulation begins. Well, the race for the Blaine House is certainly on as part of the primary, and the candidates for governor making their final pitches to voters today. Julia Simone caught up with some of the candidates from both sides.
Polls will be open tomorrow from 7 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. As for the race for governor, on the Republican side, Bobby Charles remains the frontrunner. A UNH poll released at the end of May shows he's grown his lead to 37%. While his closest competitor, Jonathan Bush, has made a double-digit increase in recent months and currently sits at 18%. Another Republican candidate for governor, Ben Midgley, is currently at 11%. Republicans we were able to speak with today say a new face needs to be in the Blaine House to change what is happening here in Maine.
The people in power in Augusta have made their lives about who gets to get the next slice of the shrinking pie, with no consideration to the idea that we can actually grow our economy if we act in the right way.
I've been from food stamps to creating 15,000 jobs. No team is going to work harder for you to get this state back on track. So we'd appreciate your vote.
As for the Democrats running for governor, the UNH poll shows Dr. Nirav Shah and Troy Jackson in a dead heat at 28%, while Angus King III, another Democratic candidate for governor, is at 7%. The Democrats we caught up with today kept the focus on working families here in Maine and encouraged voters to show up at the polls tomorrow.
Let's not make any mistakes as to what we are up against. Families across this state are getting squeezed from every single direction. People are paying more and getting less. They are doing everything right and still not making ends meet.
The way to do that is to help working families, and the best way to help them is with more and better, higher paying jobs.
And that was Julia Simone reporting. Meanwhile, Maine's District 2 congressional race has former Governor Paul LePage running unopposed in tomorrow's Republican primary. 4 candidates are running on the Democratic side. A recent survey of USA Polling shows State Senator Joe Baldacci leading, followed by State Auditor Matt Dunlap, Jordan Wood, and Paige Loud from Old Town. Brad Rogers has a closer look at what voters think about their primary race.
Many voters in Maine's 2nd Congressional District have already made up their minds about who they will vote for. Dan Fecta and his son Jason voted early for Joe Baldacci, whose top priorities are preserving Social Security and Medicare for seniors.
Well, I voted for him because I thought he had the best chance to beat Paul LePage.
I think there's a lot of good candidates this year. I think there's a lot of options to pick from. I just felt Baldacci was the best choice.
State Auditor Matt Dunlap supports universal health care and bringing prices down.
I know Matt Dunlap has a lot of supporters, so it's going to be close on that side.
Jordan Wood supports universal child care and protecting voting rights.
I'm going to go for Jordan Wood. That's who I've been following for the most part online.
What do you like about Jordan Wood?
His demeanor, calmness.
Paige Loud also supports universal health care and expanding access to food for children and seniors. But what's driving many voters to the polls are rising prices on gas, food, housing, and more, along with President Trump's positions on immigration, human rights, and cuts to wind and solar projects.
We're not going to have anything. They've taken away all the conservation, taken away a lot of rights for people.
I've always been for, human rights and all that stuff. Just treat everybody equally.
The lone Republican running for the seat being vacated by Jared Golden, former Governor Paul LePage, says he wants to cut waste and fraud in government. How do you feel about Paul LePage getting back into politics?
I think it's great. Just any Republican that can make any difference. And, we've had Democrats for so long out here that nothing seems to be changing. It's only getting worse.
Ahead of tomorrow's primary, President Trump reaffirmed his support for former Governor Paul LePage. One other note, if you are an independent, you can vote in the primaries, but only for one party.
And with Maine's primary election tomorrow, we've been working to give our viewers a deeper look into the candidates you'll potentially be voting for. Today, we hear from Democratic congressional candidate Matt Dunlap.
I'm running for Congress because in this very dangerous and uncertain time, we all have to step up and meet the moment, and I want to do my share. I started in this business over 30 years ago. Never had much interest in politics. I grew up in Bar Harbor on a farm just in Town Hill, just outside of the main part of town. Worked in the family business for many years and then went to the University of Maine where I ran cross country and track, studied history. Wound up working in the commercial kitchens there. Started out as a dishwasher, worked as a cook in the area, bartender, bar manager, lead cook. I worked in printing and publishing as a proofreader and editor. I've been a writer. I've done a little fur trapping on the farm when I was a kid to protect the chickens from the predators in the area. I've done work as a public administrator, as a nonprofit administrator. And all those years of experience, especially the time that I spent in the legislature as a state representative for 4 terms, chairing 3 different committees, and then the work I did for 14 years as Secretary of State, with a year in there as executive director of the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine, kind of interspersed among all that. Been very, very privileged to be able to help people and move public policy in a way that helps people make their lives better. And in this time, especially as we get into this particular dangerous part of our history with the war in Iran and what's been happening in our cities and our economy, people approached me over a year ago about the possibility of running for public office, running for Congress. They really felt that I had a profile that would meet the district very nicely. So we began a campaign back in October of this past year, and we began talking to people. It's really resonated. Amazing things happen when you talk to people about what their issues are and listen to what they have to say and then translate that back to them in terms of public policy. What we've been able to do is come up with what we call a people's agenda, talk about the things that actually affect working families in Maine, things like access to health care and health care insurance, the affordability crisis. People can't buy homes right now, people can't afford to go to college, and the price of everything has gone up 30, 35, and 50%. 54% of Mainers right now cannot afford to meet their basic health care costs or their basic costs of living. And I think Congress, in the meantime, has done things like they've cut the top nominal tax rate by 50% since 1980, haven't touched the minimum wage since 2009. There's an awful lot that we need to do and can do together, and I want to be a part of that solution, and that's why I am running for Congress.
Well, staying with CD2, Democratic candidate Jordan Wood was in Bangor to talk about his vision for Maine and America. The 37-year-old is running for the 2nd District seat. Wood talked about making child care and housing more affordable for working families. He also talked about watching families struggle with medical issues and emergencies.
We need to get to a system of Medicare for all. We need to decouple health insurance from your employer so that people have the security to get the help and care that they need without fear of going broke or sinking into medical debt.
Wood said Medicare should include dental, vision, and hearing because those things are necessary and are not options. Also, candidate Joe Baldacci speaking out today against the war with Iran and his potential Republican opponent's lack of public comment on the subject. Baldacci told listeners today it's been 100 days since the Trump administration launched the war with Iran, which he says has cost 13 American lives and triggered price hikes across the board for Americans, including Mainers, on just about all basic needs, especially gas. He said while Maine's congressional district has condemned the war in the past, Baldacci says former governor and presumptive Republican candidate for CD2, Paul LePage, has remained silent despite hardships inflicted on Mainers.
It's time for Paul LePage to come out of hiding and to answer the questions. Do you support this war in Iran? Let me be clear. I don't support the war in Iran. And when I'm in Congress, I will vote to rein in the powers of President Trump to start wars without congressional approval.
Baldacci says he's heard from many voters who are upset about the war with Iran and increased costs. He urged everyone to get out and vote tomorrow. Well, buses in and around Bangor will be free tomorrow as Community Connector works to help residents get to the polls and encourage new riders to give public transit a try. The free fare program has become an Election Day tradition in recent years, with rides offered at no cost during both the June and November elections. Bangor Transit Administrator Lori Linscott says buses will stop at polling locations in Bangor, Hamden, Vesey, and Orono as part of their regular routes. Riders heading to polling places in Brewer or Old Town are asked to let the driver know in advance.
If you need to get to Brewer, they're at the rec center. Just tell the driver you need to go to the polls in Brewer, and also in Old Town. It is request only, just because both of those are off the route a little bit, so we'll just detour to get you there.
Linscott says the program is part of the city's ongoing effort to remove transportation barriers and help ensure every resident has access to the ballot box. Coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, we'll have more local news, including new opportunities for higher learning at Hudson University. Stay with us.
It's a hot leasing summer at Quirk Hyundai. Lease a 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE just $269 a month, or a Elantra SEL for only $209 a month. Premium vibes, bold lines, and America's best warranty. Your Hyundai is waiting. Find it at Quirk.
Joe Baldacci, the hand-picked yes man of dark money DC. He's bankrolled by DC and beholden to them, not us. The truth? Joe Baldacci is the only Democrat running for Congress who stands with Trump and opposed implementing Medicare for all Mainers now. Good for the establishment, bad for Mainers. Reject dark money and corporate Democrats. Vote no on DC's handpicked yes man, Joe Baldacci. Real Change PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Car accidents can be scary. It can feel like the whole world is crashing down around you. Hurt in a car accident, I'm on top of it. I'm your go-to guy.
Call 222-2222.
Families across Maine are feeling squeezed. Grocery prices are too high. Healthcare costs too much. When times are tight, Joe Baldacci's record matters. He passed laws making healthcare easier to get. Joe stood up against Trump's cruel ICE raids. And in Congress, he'll fight to lower grocery prices and protect Medicare from cuts. Joe's values are Maine values. Straightforward, steady, ready to get to work. Lower costs, stronger care. Joe Baldacci for Congress. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Life is fragile, man. Fox Tuesday. My parents passed away 6 months apart.
Oh, God.
Coleman Domingo reveals all in the most powerful episode yet.
I never want to take this stuff for granted.
The season finale of Bear Grylls is Running Wild, Tuesday on Fox.
Make This a Summer event is on now at Quirk Jeep in Bangor. Lease Jeep Compass Limited Altitude for just $359 a month, or save $9,000 on Ram 1500 Bighorn, or lease for $489 a month. It's your Ram, it's your Jeep. Find it at Quirk in Bangor and Belfast.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
The Maine Gun Safety Coalition hosted its annual Ever Orange rally over the weekend, which focused on honoring those who lost their lives to gun violence. Troy Jackson, Shenna Bellows, and Nero Shaw spoke and advocated for continued gun violence prevention in Maine. Among those who shared their stories was Arthur Barnard, whose son was killed in the 2023 Lewiston shooting.
I'm here today to let people know that we have to be better. There are things that we have to be better at. I'm not anti-gun, but if you're going to own guns, if you're going to own deadly weapons, we need to find a way to make people responsible for the weapons that they own.
The event also included community resources and free gun lockboxes for families with children. In other news tonight, Husson University is expanding its online degree offerings. They are adding new Bachelor of Science degrees in marine biology and conservation, one in wildlife care and rehabilitation, and another in wildlife conservation and management. They are also adding 4 new online certificate programs.
Marine biology is growing. I think there's over 500,000 jobs available right now for marine biologists, and honestly there's not a lot of flexible online programs in marine biology, for example. So we're combining the labor market, the professional focus, and people's passion.
Husson officials say the programs will prepare students to be career ready on day 1 in their fields. Definitely some exciting opportunities taking shape there. Well, one Down East business is making a big impact on local nonprofits, 1 penny at a time. Our Alex Schley tells us what Stanley Subaru is doing to help some of the most vulnerable members of the community.
Stanley Subaru visited the Bar Harbor Food Pantry Monday, presenting the organization with a check along with a variety of non-perishable food items.
Because everybody needs help someplace, sometime.
Earlier this year, the Trenton-based dealership launched its Roundup for Change program, giving customers the option to round up their purchases to support a local nonprofit.
When people come in for service and we're checking them out, sometimes they only have like 1 cent over whatever it was, and we ask them to donate 99 cents or $2 or $5 or whatever they'd like to, but the cents add up.
Each month, the team at Stanley Subaru selects a different organization to benefit. Recent recipients include Next Step Domestic Violence Project, Hospice Volunteers at Hancock County, and the Family First Community Center. For organizations like Bar Harbor Food Pantry, which help feed thousands of Mainers across Hancock County, leaders say every donation makes a difference.
It is an incredible community, and while I tend to see people at some of their hardest, most vulnerable moments, the majority of what I see is genuine compassion and generosity in every direction. This community shows up for each other in so many different ways every day, and Stanley Subaru is one wonderful example of how many people support our work.
Stanley Subaru is currently raising money for Ark Pope Memorial Animal Shelter in Cherry Fields, with proceeds from June's campaign going directly to the shelter. In Bar Harbor, Alex Schley for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, we'll have your national headlines.
This is the season finale. He's unfrozen.
Flyer, white wine.
Recycling. Cuda. Wow. $250,000.
If you need a lobbyist in D.C., Bobby Charles might just be your guy. But if you want a conservative businessman who will shake up Augusta, then vote for me. I'm Jonathan Bush. I'm an outsider, a job creator, and a disruptor. As governor, I will fight for you, slashing your taxes, shredding the waste, fraud, and woke insanity, keeping boys out of girls' sports.
Thanks, Dad.
And always protecting your freedom. I'm Jonathan Bush. I'd appreciate your vote.
Think you know Robert Charles? Think again. While President Trump was crushing the woke left, D.C. insider Bob Charles was cashing in, making millions holding lucrative contracts with the woke DEI Never Trump Obama administration. Bob Charles, looking the other way, abandoning the MAGA movement, working for liberal DEI-loving Democrats, failing President Trump. Anything for a buck chuck can't be trusted. Trump traitor Robert Charles, woke, radical, wrong. Just too liberal for Maine.
Nothing runs like a deer.
And Greenway Equipment Sales makes it easy to keep your John Deere running smoothly year-round. Our mobile maintenance truck will come to you and service most walk-behind and riding lawn equipment right in your yard. Just call or schedule online. Whatever the season, we'll have you tuned up, sharpened up, and geared up to mow or blow whatever Mother Nature dishes up. Contact the Smith Brothers today for service delivered.
Nothing runs like a deer. From Greenway Equipment Sales, family owned and operated since 1994.
When there's a big job to do, you send the person you know will deliver. Joe Baldacci. Lowering grocery prices, protecting Medicare, defending a woman's right to choose. Those are big jobs. Joe Baldacci's always delivered for Maine. He passed laws making healthcare easier to get and helped restore mental health centers. Joe Baldacci goes to work for us in Maine. And in Congress, he will too. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
There's an uneasy calm in the Middle East now that there's a break in the latest round of fighting. President Trump still insisting a lasting peace deal is just days away, but as Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, it will take a dramatic turn of events to make that a reality.
A burst of Iranian missile strikes and counterattacks from Israel show just how shaky the 2-month ceasefire has become. After the short skirmish overnight, both sides have agreed once again to pause the fighting. But there's not much stopping a full-scale return to war.
If the terrorist regime in Iran makes the mistake and attacks us again, we will respond forcefully because Israel has a full right to self-defense and we exercise it as much as necessary.
In their latest flare-up, President Trump reportedly called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and urged him to ease up on any new strikes on Iran. But the president told NBC News they're still on the same page.
We get along very well. We've been great comrades. I disagree with him on a couple of things. I'd like to see Lebanon have a better life. I'd like to see a more surgical attack on Hezbollah.
President Trump says peace talks are proceeding, but Israel's continued attacks on the Iranian proxy group could derail recent progress. Though many U.S. military analysts don't believe Iran has ever been negotiating in good faith.
Well, I think the strategy the Iranians are playing out right before our eyes, drag this out as much as possible.
The Prime Minister of Pakistan, a key mediator between the U.S., Israel, and Iran, is urging all sides to give peace talks more time and says the final objective is about to be achieved. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
The House is now poised to vote as early as Tuesday on a $70 billion bill to fund immigration and customs enforcement, as well as the U.S. Border Patrol. If passed, the measure would head to the president's desk. Fox's Kevin Cork is in Washington with the latest.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 47.
Days after the Senate passed a $70 billion funding bill and an 18-hour vote-a-rama, the bill to finally fund ICE enforcement and Border Patrol is next headed to the House floor. Still, Republicans are bracing for a fight.
Democrats are going to throw up a whole bunch of roadblocks. We got to all stick together and get ICE and CBP funded.
If passed, $38 billion would go toward funding ICE, $22 billion for Border Patrol, and another $5 billion for the Department of Homeland Security.
House Democrats will be a hard no on the reckless Republican budget reconciliation bill this week.
Democrats have opposed funding for both ICE and CBP since 2 civilians were killed by federal law enforcement in Minneapolis during a January immigration enforcement surge. That led to a more than 2-month-long partial government shutdown, forcing Republicans to turn to the budget reconciliation process.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's been something, 110 plus days or something.
We believe that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not give ICE another $70 billion blank check so they can unleash brutality on American citizens.
If passed, the funding bill would be available through the end of fiscal 2029, and that's through the end of President Trump's second term in office. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News. The 2026 World Cup kicks off this week, and it will be the largest tournament since the World Cup began back in 1930. Fox's Jonathan Hunt has the latest on how cities are gearing up.
It's finally here.
City leaders across the country are celebrating the start of the World Cup, which kicks off Thursday.
This isn't just any sporting event, it's the biggest sporting event in the world. And it's happening right here in our backyard.
MetLife Stadium in New Jersey and big cities such as Los Angeles, Dallas, and Miami will all host games. In all, 11 cities across the country will be part of the action.
You'll see 78 games, 11 sites that will be set up similar from a safety and security perspective to the Super Bowl.
And for those who can't afford a ticket, many cities are planning watch parties. In New York, Governor Kathy Hochul announced there will be a massive event in Central Park.
And guess what the price tag is? It's free!
With 5 to 6 million international visitors estimated to travel to the United States, security is a major concern. Officials in Seattle, for instance, are using high-tech equipment to keep an eye on everything, from the skies above the stadium down to the pitch.
We're going to have 6 matches here in Seattle, and I got to tell you, it is an unprecedented collaborative effort across federal, local, and state agencies.
The World Cup, the biggest sporting event on the planet, officially kicks off Thursday with Mexico taking on South Africa. The first game for the USA is Friday against Paraguay. In Los Angeles, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
A mixed Monday for your money. Fox Business Network's Jerry Willis has a look at that story and more in today's Fox Means Business.
Markets finished mixed for your Monday. The Dow closing in the red, but the S&P 500 and NASDAQ finished higher after Friday's sell-off. NVIDIA securing several deals to support the AI build-out after CEO Jensen Huang's trip to South Korea. Those partnerships include SK Hynix, Samsung, Naver, Doosan, LG, and Hyundai Motor. The highlight of Huang's trip was NVIDIA's multi-year tie-up with its largest memory chip partner, SK Hynix, which will see it commit to developing advanced memory for global AI data centers. Soup maker Campbell's saw a 4% drop in quarterly sales as weakness in salty snacks, crackers, and fresh bakery items continued to weigh on its snack business. Still, the company's profits nearly doubled to $124 million as it leans on cost cuts and productivity gains. Campbell's CEO says top brands like Campbell's and Swanson are benefiting as cash-strapped Americans are cooking more at home. Johnson & Johnson is buying biotech firm Firefly Bio for $1 billion in cash as it looks to strengthen its cancer drug pipeline. Firefly uses antibodies to deliver a protein-degrading drug straight into cancer cells, which J&J says could attack tumors while sparing more healthy tissue than current treatments. The platform targets cancers driven by a gene mutation called KRAS that has long been considered undruggable. The deal is expected to close later this year. That's business. I'm Jerry Willis.
And stay with us, everyone. Your full 5-day is next.
Well, we had very nice weather out there today with temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. But how warm are we going to get in these next couple days? And are we going to get rainfall with this warmness? All of that for you coming up.
compassionate, capable. That's how Dr. Nirav Shah led us through one of our most challenging times together, earning the trust of Mainers for his clear leadership that saved lives.
As governor, I'll be guided by evidence, motivated by compassion, driven by urgency, and committed to our responsibility to care for one another. We've come together before to tackle tough challenges, and I'm ready to do it again.
Nirav Shah, Governor.
Warning, entering Keepsakes may cause extreme creativity. From gorgeous fabrics and cozy yarn to gifts you didn't know you needed, we've got it all. Dive into quilting, grab a sewing machine, or join a class and unleash your inner artist. Stick around for our mystery quilt projects if you love a good surprise. And yes, we have a fudge counter, because crafting burns calories, right? Keepsakes, where your hobbies and your sweet tooth live happily ever after.
Families across Maine are feeling squeezed. Grocery prices are too high. Healthcare costs too much. When times are tight, Joe Baldacci's record matters. He passed laws making healthcare easier to get. Joe stood up against Trump's cruel ICE raids, and in Congress, he'll fight to lower grocery prices and protect Medicare from cuts. Joe's values are Maine values: straightforward, steady, ready to get to work. Lower costs, stronger care. Joe Baldacci for Congress. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Do you have a wet basement, nasty crawl space, settling foundation, sinking concrete, or clogged gutters? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. For over 30 years, thousands of homeowners throughout Maine and southeastern New Hampshire have trusted TC Hafford. Basement waterproofing, crawl space repair, stabilizing foundations, concrete leveling, and gutter installation. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basementy.
We're ready for baseball, and off we go.
Major League Baseball, all season long on Fox.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Ride smart, ride safe, enjoy the weekend, and enjoy the road with Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers, Boothbay Harbor. While we're taking a look at those temperatures out there, I mean, we had a beautiful day out there. We had temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Some spots even hit 80. Beautiful day out there. We also had lots of sunshine. We're going to cool back down into those 50s tonight. Tomorrow we're looking at getting into the 80s, and then once again for us on Wednesday we're going to get into those 80s. Some spots are going to reach for 90 out there as well. Definitely going to be warm for those next couple of days. We're looking at low to mid 80s for tomorrow and Wednesday, and then we're cooling down into the upper 70s for our Thursday, Friday, Saturday, before we're back up into the 80s for our Sunday and our Monday. Now, taking a look, we do have some winds with this as well, so it's not going to feel as warm because we got some nice breeze out there as well. We're looking at gusts tomorrow around 15 miles per hour, dying down overnight tomorrow night, becoming calm for much of the day for us on Wednesday, and we're also dealing with some humidity with these warmer temperatures, especially for us on our Thursday into our Friday. It's going to feel humid out there. It's going to feel warmer, and we have some rain on the way as well. We're going to take a look at radar right now, where we have nothing out there as far as the eye can see. And this goes back a ways. I mean, we got no clouds in the sky as far as the eye can see. However, that is going to change. We will have some clouds roll in overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Those will continue to kind of go throughout the day tomorrow, but we will see lots of sunshine for us tomorrow, and then we start to see a few showers and thunderstorms make their way into our area for our Wednesday afternoon into our Wednesday evening for us as well. For tonight, though, temperature is going to be in those low 50s, partly cloudy skies, and winds from the west between 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow, we're looking at very nice temperatures out there, a little warmer for us rather than today, with temperatures in the low 80s, partly cloudy skies, and winds from the west between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, taking a look at your extended forecast, tomorrow is going to be the last beautiful day for a couple of days. Partly cloudy skies, and those temperatures, like I said, are going to be nice, right around 83. Wednesday, thunderstorm chances are back into the forecast with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s in many spots. Thursday, those thunderstorm chances stick around. We're cooling back down into the upper 70s for Thursday, Friday. Thunderstorm chances remain in the area for our Friday and also again for our Saturday.
Definitely could be a tough week for all of us who have pups with thunderstorm anxiety, so be advised. Alrighty, folks, we will be right back with sports.
I'm Owen McCarthy, running for governor. Here's why they say I can't win. Not a politician. I'm an engineer, business builder, and problem solver. Augusta, they don't do problem solving. No famous last name. Yeah, I'm the son of a logger and a lunch lady from north of Augusta. Plan is too detailed. My plan makes Maine affordable for working people. They say it's too smart for politicians to understand. Too nice. Yeah, I'm not an asshole. I'm Owen McCarthy. Let's prove him wrong.
Make your outdoor living space dreams come true with a little help from Granville Stone and Hearth. Granville can help you go from this to this. Outdoor fireplaces, custom outdoor kitchens, gorgeous stone patios, and more. You bring the dreams, we'll supply the materials to make it all real. Create your stunning outdoor oasis with help from the experts at Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Think you know Robert Charles? Think again. While President Trump was crushing the woke left, DC insider Bob Charles was cashing in, making millions holding lucrative contracts with the woke DEI Never Trump Obama administration. Bob Charles, looking the other way, abandoning the MAGA movement, working for liberal DEI-loving Democrats, failing President Trump. Anything for a buck chuck can't be trusted. Trump traitor Robert Charles, woke, radical, wrong. Just too liberal for Maine.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice? He said that I should use 26 words or more.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Welcome back in, everyone. NBA Finals Game 3 between the Spurs and Knicks is slated for Monday night, with the Knicks bringing a 2-0 series lead with them back to New York in Madison Square Garden. The Big Apple has been a zoo all series long, but is expected to be turned up a notch as the series comes to the city between the rabid fan base and President Donald Trump planning to attend Game 3 Madison Square Garden, and the blocks around it have been put on lockdown. They canceled the watch party, and as of 4 p.m. on Monday, they closed all streets between West 30th and 35th to vehicular and pedestrian traffic. The only way you'd be allowed in that area is if you have credentials, have business in the area, have a train ticket, or a ticket to the game. Speaking of which, as of Sunday, would cost you almost $8,000 just to get in the building. It's since dropped in just under $4,000 on Monday afternoon, but still just insane prices. Let's head to MSG now to check in on that game. We pick it up from the first, where the Spurs started hot. Victor Wembanyama, he drives and gets the bucket and the foul to keep the Spurs rolling early. They'd hold a big lead for the majority of the first half, but late in the second, here come the Knicks. Josh Hart is going to bang home the three to give the Knicks their first lead of the game. Then Jalen Brunson adds to it shortly after. The Knicks would lead at halftime, and the score is currently 96-91 Spurs. That's still going down on ABC. We'll have the full highlights for you at 11 and tomorrow morning. Well, folks, on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on ABC, we will have a live Cooper Flag Year in Review special where we recap Coop's amazing first year in the NBA, from draft night to winning Rookie of the Year. And to get you ready, let's bring you back to Newport and relive that historic June night together.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flag from Duke University.
June 25th, 2025, a day Governor Janet Mills has declared Cooper Flag Day across the state of Maine, a day that's been decades in the making for the Maine basketball community.
Like, I played basketball a long time around here. We've been waiting for this, so we deserve this. You know what I mean?
It's so special, I can't even say it.
I've never experienced this in my life before,
and it's probably one of the greatest things I'll ever experience in my life. Just like not from Newport, but just to be in Maine, #1 overall, it's really cool.
A day young athletes across the state will remember and lean on for decades to come as they dream of heights once thought impossible.
I mean, it's very inspirational that he's from Maine, and like we're a small small state, and he's just a very good player.
When you're growing up and you're playing basketball, especially in Maine, you don't have a lot to look up to.
Hopefully it opens the doors for a lot of other children that are in small rural areas to maybe keep striving for the best that they can do, and who knows, maybe they'll be in the same situation.
It's a celebratory day across the state, but there's no place more proud than his hometown of Newport.
Obviously filled with so much pride, joy for Cooper and his family, and like happy for our community. Like our communities get to celebrate this and claim him as one of our own, so it's just been unbelievable.
From Newport, Jack Webb, ABC7 Fox 22 Sports. We will have more on that historic night and every other major event in Cooper Flag's historic rookie year on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on ABC. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
When there's a big job to do, you send the person you know will deliver. Joe Baldacci. Lowering grocery prices, protecting Medicare, defending a woman's right to choose. Those are big jobs. Joe Baldacci's always delivered for Maine. He passed laws making healthcare easier to get and helped restore mental health centers. Joe Baldacci goes to work for us in Maine. And in Congress, he will too. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
What's the truth about Nirav Shah? Shah was appointed by a Republican megamillionaire in Illinois and failed. Democrats called his mistakes the height of irresponsibility and negligence. That's not all. Shah worked for a union-busting firm that sides with big corporations over workers. Now, Shah is getting donations from Big Pharma, private equity, and super PAC spending from a group that wants to defund our public schools. It's a prescription for disaster for Maine working families. Don't rank Shah.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. With Skyrizi, feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks. Many people were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 4 years.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's.
Control is everything to me. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Your goal is to put items in the correct order before, in between, definitely after.
This is The Perfect Line. Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Over 1,000 athletes competed this past weekend in the state's annual Special Olympics Summer Games. The competition was held at the University of Maine in Orono. Athletes and coaches from every county in the state participated in various track and field events and bocce. The weekend-long event is the culmination of months of hard work and training. Organizers say the state Summer Games are about more than just winning medals, though. It's about making memories and celebrating milestones.
It just gives them that sense of competition and spirit, of teamwork, and just the love of sport and the love of competing.
How
It's just everything for them.
did it feel to cross the finish line?
It felt like $1 million. It felt good. I broke my record, everything. I had a blast.
I got to show my grandmother and my dad that I could run a mile really fast.
Well, the competition came to a close on Sunday. However, the training is not over for some, as more than 60 Special Olympics Maine athletes and coaches will also be representing Maine at the Special Olympics USA Summer Games in Minnesota this month. And we wish them the very best of luck there as well. Well, as part of a writing assignment, middle school students in Old Town are asking the question, what do we owe each other? Our Sam Miller has the story.
Leonard Middle School held a student pitch event in their library where 7th grade students wrote personal speeches centered around the question, what do we owe each other? To summarize their experience while studying ethics and literature. 5 7th grade students were chosen to speak, with the speeches focusing on what the students believe people owe to each other, such as genuine kindness and holding each other accountable. English language arts teacher Rachel Beckwith expressed her pride in the students.
The kids were amazing. They always are, and just when you're standing up there watching them, and just had a big grin on my face, just so proud of them. But their messages, I thought it was unique. All their messages were different.
Beckwith added that the purpose behind this event is for the students to let their voices be heard.
I want them to understand that their voice matters, that people do care what they have to say, even though they're 12 or 13 years old. More than me, more than the principal and other teachers, but actually people out here want to hear what people have to say.
The students say the speeches have helped them be more comfortable with public speaking, and they saw how each interpretation was special in its own way.
We all just had to brainstorm what we thought that question meant, and we all just went different routes of what we thought it meant.
Students applauded each other's hard work, reflecting the students' commitment to their own powerful words. In Old Town, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Certainly sounds like a great question to be asking. Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it for us. From everyone here at Fox 22 News, take care and have a great rest of your night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for full coverage of the Maine primary.
Your goal is to put items in the